So, very good evening to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and data enthusiasts from around the globe. Welcome to our webinar on Thriving in the Age of Analytics and AI, the do's and don'ts. In this fast-paced era, data is the currency of innovation, flowing abundantly through every aspect of our lives. Yet, harnessing this vast sea of information to steer our businesses towards success, it requires more than just raw numbers. It demands insights, it demands strategy, and it also demands the right tools. Undoubtedly, analytics and AI have transformative power, not just for large corporations, but also for small businesses. Today, we are honored to have Professor Arnab Kumar Laha from the prestigious IIM Ahmedabad with us. He is here to delve deeper into the real value of these technologies for businesses of all sizes. Throughout our session, Professor Laha will guide us through the intricate landscape of analytics and artificial intelligence, revealing the do's and don'ts that every business leader should know. From identifying key trends to making informed decisions, we will explore how these technologies empower organizations to thrive in the digital age. But that's not all. Professor Laha will also shed light on IIM Ahmedabad's groundbreaking executive program in advanced business analytics. This program is tailored for busy professionals like you. This four-month journey promises to equip you with the skills and insights which are needed to lead data-driven transformations within your organizations. So whether you are a seasoned executive or an aspiring entrepreneur, buckle up as we embark on a journey into the world of analytics and AI, where data isn't just a resource, it is the key to unlocking untold possibilities. So I would like to invite my colleague from VC Now, Mr. Darius Mehta, to kindly introduce Professor Laha to the gathering here. Mr.
Sure.
Mehta, over to you.
Thank you, Shivani. Thank you for the wonderful context setting and the wonderful introduction, both, of the analytics domain and its impact on the future, as well as, I have the pleasure of introducing Professor Laha, who is actually, very renowned in the analytics domain. So Professor Laha has completed his master's and PhD from the Indian Statistical Institute and has various research and publications to his credit. All of you present over here, you'd be glad to know that you are in really good hands. He was named 10 amongst the most prominent analytics academicians by Analytics India magazine. He's often cited as one of the best business school professors by Business Today and other leading business school magazines also over the few years that we have been working with him. He's the author of a popular book on analytics titled, very rightly titled, I would say, How to Make the Right Decision. And that book is available by Penguin Random House, and it is, available. There is another book also, which is on advanced analytics by Springer and Professor Laha. So on this, note, without much ado, I would like to hand over to Professor Laha. I welcome him and hand over to Professor Laha to take us on the wonderful journey that we are awaiting. Over to you, Professor Laha.
So thank you, Ms. Shivani and Mr. Darius, for your kind introduction. And so I will be talking on thriving in the age of analytics and AI. And what a manager should do and don't. So it is not a purely technical talk. I will talk a little bit of techniques and in the context, but mostly I will be looking at what we should do. And the we is intentional. It is also applicable to me as much as to you. To remain relevant in a very fast changing world whose shape we are yet to fully understand. So what has happened in the last few years, and I must say it's a few years, starting just a little earlier to COVID, about around 2018, in about last half a decade or 5 years or so, we have seen that data has emerged as a key player. Now, that data could do wonders is not unknown to people like me who have been trained in statistics, but the rapidity with which we could see that it is getting adopted across businesses is somewhat of a surprise, even to people like me who have been in the field of analytics for almost 2.5 decades. So this is something that has been phenomenal. And I must thank our computer science colleagues who created these technologies, which have made data processing and data transferring much more efficient, much more cheaper over the years. And the machine learning algorithms that has been developed by them, which has made computing a breeze for this remarkable progress. But the progress that has happened, of course, led by several technology giants like Google and Facebook and Amazon and OpenAI. So this has been remarkable. And as Yuval Noah Harari, the historian, says very aptly that data is the fabric of the modern world, just as cotton or wool was in the past. So without data, we cannot do anything today. And in fact, just the fact that you are being able to sit in your own places and be able to interact, and we are able to interact with you, is being facilitated by data and analytics at different stages. Now, the data has come in large volumes. So when you talk about big data, and big data has been a big enabler to this current revolution, so it has come in large volumes, but it has been coming in large volumes for about 2 decades now. So volume has been a constant thing. So we have seen more and more data come from different sources. But what has been really remarkable is the next 2 V's we talk about big data. One is the variety, the different kinds of data. The numerical data or categorical data was known to us for many years. But the data coming in form of audio or video or images and various other things like GPS logs, maps. So all of these kind of data was actually coming in for quite some time, but the processing powers and the computing tools that have become state of the art over the last 5 years or so has actually been able to reap the maximum out of these. So when I say maximum up to this point of time, I'm sure this is not the true maximum. We'll have more and more applications developed around these in the coming years. Velocity is a term which is often used to actually refer to the data that is coming in very fast, like sensor data or data of this kind when we are talking on a video conferencing. So these are the data that is sort of fast moving data. And computational techniques have reached a stage where it is possible for us to take very quick decisions on this flowing data. And that has been tremendously beneficial in many applications, right from soon to be on Indian roads, cars which can drive themselves, or say airlines or airplanes that fly on their own. So all of these rely on high velocity data. One big application on high velocity data is the Uber or essentially the platform services like Uber or Amazon. These are all essentially dependent on high velocity data. What has been a little bit of a challenge is the accuracy of the data, particularly human generated data. The machine generated data like GPS traces or maps, those do not have much of a problem because these are machine generated. If a machine doesn't give the right numbers, it is actually not very difficult for statistical algorithms to be able to figure out that the numbers are wrong. What is more problematic is human-generated data, intentional planting of fake news, intentional morphing of images. Now, these are hard data to identify. However, I mean, research is progressing at a very fast pace, and we will be over this in a few years. I mean, it is not something that it cannot be solved, but it has taken quite a bit of a cost to solve it, because when someone is intentionally trying to destroy your system, you will have to take precautions, and therefore you will have to have algorithms which are able to handle this kind of an attempted manipulation. So I will not say we have reached there, but we are on the way, and more trustworthy, reliable data which screens out motivated information or fake news is on the way. So it is not something that will be far away. The growth, if you look at the phenomenal growth that big data technologies and artificial intelligence has been driven by business. And why has businesses adopted it so fast and in such a large number? That is because they have found value. So businesses do not act unless they see value. So the output that they get versus the input that they put in terms of resources, unless that is a large positive, businesses generally do not move. And in this value for money game, we have seen that data has paid very rich dividends. New businesses have come, old business models have gone away, and this has proved beyond doubt that data can deliver very high amount of value. Now, when we come to analytics, and that's why I've labeled this Analytics 101, we hear about various kinds of analytics, and you must be hearing about all of them. So we hear about descriptive analytics. What is that? Basically, it says that what is the information that you have about the past? Which brand of your car is selling the most for the last 3 months? Which food item is being most ordered from your inventory, maybe in the last few weeks? So these are the kind of things which basically answers what happened. How many customers visited your bank branches? Now, this is the kind of things that you do in descriptive analytics. Now, the third IT revolution, so Industry 3.0, which brought in computers to businesses, which happened somewhere from early 1970s, was largely about descriptive analytics. So we had these large database systems being built, and these database systems could be queried. SQL was developed, so it could be queried, and we could answer questions like what happened, when it happened, and so on. Now, based on this descriptive analytics, that in modern parlance, descriptive analytics are often called dashboards, which basically give you the state of the art as it is now. Also, let people to ask questions about why it happened, and that's what is referred to as diagnostic analytics. Why something happened? So we had a large inventory at a particular location. Why that large inventory happened? Did the transporter wrongly deliver some product, or was there something happening there? Maybe a promotional campaign by my competitor, which led to a slump in my sales, which has led to this large inventory. So why did this large inventory happen? So that's the diagnostic analytics. Now, once you have these diagnostic analytics in place, then you start asking that what will happen next? Like, can I give this customer a loan which he will repay? So basically, it's very difficult to figure out whether a customer will give back the loan or not. Particularly for organizations like a credit card company, their main source of revenue is from people who they call revolvers, who are essentially people who are good at heart and who pay back, they try to pay back the amount that they take as loan. They're not the defaulter kinds who will take the money and run away. Now, how do you distinguish between a person who is seeking a loan, whether he will turn out to be a revolver or a default? Now, that is where predictive analytics started to come in, and the initial successes by several of the US banks indicated that, yes, this can be done. We can figure out many characteristics of the customer, like where he spends the money, what kind of clothes he buys, what kind of whether he has a family or not, what kind of accommodation does he live in. Now, if we can figure all this out, some demographic observation, some transactional information that I have because he's using my credit card only, I can then possibly guess that, okay, this guy is more likely to be a defaulter because he's spending a lot of money on liquor, a lot of money on races. So he is possibly likely to run away with my money at some point of time, versus someone who is going to a revolver, whom you see that he's spending the money on school fees or maybe for treatment of himself or his wife or for some educational products. So you figure out that this person is good at heart. He will not run away with the money. He has temporary difficulties with money, so he's taking a loan and he will pay you back. And that's where you will say that, okay, I will not charge a very large interest rate like 49% on this guy, but I will offer a much lesser interest rate, maybe 10% on this guy, and allow him to settle down and allow him to use this money reasonably well so that he can, at some point of time, continue to be with us as a customer. Now, once these kind of problems were sorted out, and predictive analytics continues to be a very important area, along with descriptive and diagnostic analytics, despite all the hype about AI, predictive analytics is a solid, strong area for businesses. I will tell you more a little later. Next is prescriptive analytics. Prescriptive analytics is more sophisticated. It basically tells you what is the best to do. Can I do the best thing right now? Say when Google Maps will give you the route from point A to point B, it is essentially doing a prescriptive analytics and telling you that at this point of time, this is the best route to take if you want to reach point B from point A in maybe the least amount of time. So that is what prescriptive analytics does. It gives you the best solution at a point of time. And finally, you have this cognitive analytics, and cognitive analytics is a growing frontier. So it is something that is still we are figuring out how to do it in all cases. But some context, it is very clear. Like, say, for example, if you are thinking of flying, thinking of going from Ahmedabad to Mumbai, and possibly the most cost-effective, if you take time into account, route for an executive will be to fly. So just fly from Ahmedabad to Bombay. You have so many flights a day. The flight time is small and so on. But if you are having a contagious disease like COVID around, then it may be the most riskiest way to go because you will be with 200 other passengers. And if any one of them has this disease, you are likely to get it. And an analytic system, a cognitive analytic system, should be able to tell us that, well, don't go by air now. Air is the best way to go. Prescriptive analytics will tell you that air is the best way to go. But cognitive analytics system should tell you that, yes, it is the best way to go, but don't go now because you may land up in a more serious trouble. Rather, you take a longer route, travel by 10 hours, but travel by a car. Okay? So that is the kind of systems that cognitive analytics is doing. So we are going there. And one of the things that has been really remarkable is these large language models. So whenever you interact with ChatGPT or Gemini, one of the fascinating things is that it can understand the context. It is, of course, learning the context from multiple chats that it's having with you, but it is understanding the context. And once it understands the context, it does try, not always successful, but it does try to contextualize the answer. So the best examples of cognitive analytics are these very proficient chatbots. And I must say that their success is because of the context. Google search has been there for about 25 years. Okay, so Google search has done a wonderful job in providing us with information, very sophisticated information. But despite that, the fact that ChatGPT and Gemini will become so strong or has become so strong and will increasingly become better because there are many others who are in the pipeline, is due to the fact that it can contextualize the answer. It is not giving you the answer that it will give to Mr. Y. Okay, so to Mr. X, it will contextualize the answer to Mr. X's need. whereas for Mr. Y, it will contextualize the answer to Mr. Y's needs. And this ability of these chatbots, ChatGPT or say Gemini, and there are many others. I like one called Pi. So all of these are actually contextualizing your question. So it is figuring out that why you are asking this question. Is it just for knowledge, or is it something that you'd like to know more about, or is it something that you want to build on? So, for example, if you say that, give me a presentation on artificial intelligence to ChatGPT or Gemini, it will give you. It will also ask you that, do you want to give it do you want to make a corporate presentation, or you want to do a school project? And depending on that, it can customize. And this ability to customize is the human ability. And that's why these systems are making so much news. And in this context, you will hear a lot of terminologies. And one of the problems with the AI, any technology which goes into a hype, is that you start hearing a lot of technology, a lot of terminologies. And two terminologies you will definitely encounter. One is, what is machine learning? What is machine learning? And what is the machine here? The machine here is a computer. Okay, a computer, not necessarily a desktop. These are large computers with many processors and large storage spaces, maybe even distributed over countries or geographies. But this is ultimately a computer. So whatever be the configuration is, it is ultimately a computer. And you are essentially trying to teach the computer how to learn from data through identification of patterns and trends. Okay, so the algorithms that you do are not specific to one particular task. It is not like the previous algorithms where you had data and you say you have banking data and you build a program and you run the program with the banking data, get the results. So this is a little more ambitious than that. It's saying that, okay, this is the algorithm. You give your data, not any data, but maybe financial services data, which has a certain characteristic. And then I will figure out from this data what is the patterns and trends that I have, and I will try to give you. So these are a little more ambitious systems, but ultimately these are algorithms. And these algorithms have been trained with lots of data, very large amount of volumes, varieties, and of data. And it is able to identify the patterns and trends and can decide on which is the best action to take. So that's what machine learning does. Now, when you feed it with data corresponding to, say, cars and how cars drive on the road, it will be able to learn from the driving history of thousands of drivers and thousands of trips, and will be able to figure out that when to brake, when to stop, when to take a left turn, when to take a right turn, when to leave the space for the other car. So all of these will be learned by the algorithm. And then it will get real-time data from its various sensors on board. Like a Tesla will have many sensors on board, and it will get this data from these sensors. And then using the algorithm, it will have on board the car. So essentially, cars like Tesla are moving computers, very sophisticated moving computers. So it will do the analysis on board, and maybe it will have some distributed capabilities elsewhere, and will be able to then guide the car whether to move left, right, what it needs to do. So machine learning is at the heart of it. So a part of the machine learning is statistical modeling. A part of it is reinforcement learning. And then we also now have generative learning. Generative learning is less important in real-time applications, but nevertheless, what you are seeing in ChatGPT, a lot of that is generative modeling. So generative modeling is also very important. Now, contrasting to that, if you talk about artificial intelligence is machine learning. So let's understand that. So the core of artificial intelligence is machine learning. But artificial intelligence is attempting harder tasks. So for example, it is trying to give us visual perception through computer vision, which will be very essential for self-driving cars. You have speech recognition, So whenever you talk to any AI assistant, you are essentially, it is understanding your query, then translating it, analyzing it, and again speaking you to back. So text to speech, speech to text, all of these things are being done very quickly on the system. Chatbots holding a conversation. So many of these chatbots like Google Duplex or ChatGPT and Gemini and so on, they're all able to do a conversation as if you are talking to a human. There are medical chatbots like Babylon, where you can actually talk to as if you're talking to a doctor, and it can ask you the questions which a doctor would typically do or a nurse would do while they are triaging you. Triaging means that they're trying to get your background information, like, did you have a hypertension? Do you have diabetes? Do you take this medicine, that medicine? Do you have a heart problem in the past? So all of these things that the doctor would typically ask or the nurse would typically ask, this computer system will do, and it will also tell you that, well, do you have a serious condition? Now, a system like Babylon in an Indian context, as and when it gets developed, would be a game changer, because a lot of people in India has hard time accessing healthcare, even in cities, forget about rural areas. Now, a chatbot of this kind can at least tell you that, are you having a heart attack? Do you need to rush? Is it something like a brain stroke where you need to rush and 3 hours is too late to reach the hospital? Your window of opportunities is 2 hours. So these are the kind of things it can immediately tell you, okay? And you can then take action. It can also tell you that this is no rush. Take some antacid, go to sleep, go to a doctor tomorrow morning. Now, this is something that is a great capability for a country like India. So not only India, any third world country, or even second world countries. So that is something that these kind of chatbots holds promise and will do. And it's a matter of time. Okay, it can even happen maybe tomorrow or maybe in a year's time. So these kind of decision making in complex contexts are being aided by artificial intelligence. And that is the productivity gain. So a lot of people are talking about job losses and all that, which is real. I'll talk about it also. But the fact is that the productivity gains are huge. So it is likely that when this revolution takes place, already that productivity gains has been realized by a huge margin. It will be about 10 times. So if you are producing X today, you'll be able to produce 10X today, because there will be other enabling technologies that are coming in, like 3D printing. So all of these will come together and will produce a remarkable thing. For humans, the story can be very exciting or very scary, depending on how you look at it, how regulations are framed. There is very sophisticated biotechnology systems like CRISPR, which can edit the genes. So it can do some sort of a 3D modeling of human genes. So it is possible to have treatments of rare diseases which are genetically rooted by using these kind of technologies. So it's as these things come together in the next 5-10 years time, we will be seeing dramatic developments. Of course, it's an issue that regulators must sort of think of, that whether it is going to be good or bad. So it is a mix of statistical modeling, machine learning, generative models. All of these are coming together in this one word umbrella, which we call artificial intelligence. Now, what would be the impact of analytics and AI on business? Okay, already we are seeing some of these things. So many companies are using data in a very heavy manner to take decisions. Is it taking away all judgmental calls? No, and it should not. At some level, humans understand things in a very different way than machines do. So judgment will remain, but judgment will be tempered by data. And that has been starting to happen. And in many organizations, it's quite advanced. In Indian organizations, it's early days, but it is happening. We can optimize systems like sales and marketing efforts can be optimized. Okay? You know whom to target, whom not to target. whom to sell, whom not to sell. Okay. So all of these can be done. It can reduce cost and enhance efficiency by automating repetitive processes, robotic process automation, which has been there for some years. Use of robots, software or hardware robots for a lot of activities is already there, and it will increase. So many hazardous activities can be taken care of by robots. Okay. So already a lot of them are being taken care of by robots. We don't call them robots, we call them by other names, but they are essentially robots. And more will happen. Even some of the things that, say, in our household, many chores that we don't like to do can be automated. Okay, so some chores are pretty risky, actually. So if you do it every day, but they are not as simple as it looks. Now, those things can possibly be automated, and robots can start to work on it. And we are seeing already a large adoption of chatbots and assistants and personalization that is happening across platforms. So platforms like Uber or Amazon, we see this day in, day out, how personalization and user experience enhancement is happening. So user experience is something that all organizations, particularly who are digitally present, are worried about, and they are doing it in big ways. Now, another question that I face in a lot of these public seminars is that what is going to happen to the jobs? Already, we have a large population, and such kind of rapid developments can have a deleterious impact. The answer is partially yes. I mean, I cannot say it's no. Okay, so it will have, particularly because the nature of the job will change. It may not be the number of the jobs. Okay, so the number of the jobs are very unlikely to come down. In fact, it is much more likely to go up. So total number of jobs may actually go up, but the nature of the jobs may change, particularly jobs which are towards the lower end of the skill set, which are repetitive, which doesn't require a very large amount of skill. Those kind of jobs can get automated and removed from the system. Some jobs which are lower end at the skill, but are hard to automate, would be jobs like, say, planting trees or say plumbing. Now, these jobs will not go away. So when I say that low skills job will go away, it is not that all low skill jobs will go away. Some low skill jobs which can be automated efficiently and at a low cost will actually go away, as companies will adopt AI systems for this, which are, as I said, cost-wise, they're far more cheaper. AI is going to augment our capabilities. So a doctor who knows AI or uses AI would be far better than a doctor who doesn't use AI. A teacher like me who uses AI would be far better than another one who doesn't use AI. So, as I said, the we includes me. So, if I have to survive and thrive in this business, in this era, I will have to pick up these capabilities, none of which we saw coming. And my generation of students would have never thought that these things are possible. But that is something that we have to pick up. So, professionals, irrespective of your age, whether you are 30 or you are 60, will have to learn new ways of doing the job. And the ones who will be fast learners will survive and thrive. So there's no question about it. So you have to make our mindset ready to learn. And also we have to have our scanning window open. Okay, so we have been trained in job X. We are experts in that job. Okay, so I'm sure before automobile came in, or rather petroleum automobiles came in, there have been excellent horse riders, horse coaches, and so on, who used to thrive on the roads from New York to Delhi, wherever. So, but all those have gone. They may have been wonderful coachmen, but they have gone because the technology has replaced. So we should not put ourselves in that condition. Okay, so we should be able to blend the technical knowledge of analytics and AI with whatever the industry expertise we have and the soft skills. And these jobs would be the new jobs that will be coming. So that new, if you have to sort of take a guess on what would be the kind of new jobs that will come, it will invariably use a lot of technical knowledge of analytics and AI. It will leverage your industry experience and your soft skills. Now, if you are good in these, I think there's nothing to worry, and there will be lots of jobs on the table. So what we managers and us should do to thrive in the age of analytics and AI. The first and foremost is that we have to embrace lifelong learning. Whether you are 20 or 40 or 60, doesn't matter. Why I'm stopping at 60, I don't know, maybe 70. Because humans are likely to live for 90, 100 years in the next 10 years. So I think there is also some dramatic advancement in those fields. So maybe 70 would be the new 50. So therefore, wherever you are in that spectrum, you will have to learn. And it will have to be a lifelong learning. That notion that at 22, my learning is done is no more valid, and it will become increasingly invalid as we go ahead. We have to be adaptable and agile. And as I said, we have to be on the constant lookout on how the horizon is changing, what new technologies are coming, how is it the whole scenario of business or profession is changing. And I can assure you only one thing. I cannot tell you that how it will change, but I can definitely tell you that the changes will be very, very fast and would be radical. So that much I can assure you. So that is where your adaptability and agility will help you. You will have to leverage AI. You have to think of it as one of your team members and help it to collaborate with other team members. So as I said, a person knowing AI would be far better than another one who doesn't know AI. So similarly, a team or a team leader who uses AI would be far better than one who does not use AI. So using AI, enhance collaboration among the team members so that you can do your job well. The fourth one, that you have to view jobs as collections of skills and tasks. So a lot of this, if you try to visualize the job in this particular manner, that these are the tasks that I have to do, and these are the skills that I have. And if you see how the skill map is changing, you will automatically get alerted that I have to get this new skill because this skill is now required. If you are very task-oriented and do not look at that skill changing part, you can be left behind. So you have to always start to think that, well, these are my current skills. These are the tasks that I am solving using these current skills. What is happening to my skill set? Are some new things coming in that? And how can that facilitate my task, the current tasks or some new tasks that I'm going to get. So that's why I'm saying that if you keep upgrading your skills, you'll be ready for new opportunities. And there is nothing to worry about in this rapidly changing things. And what you should not do, you should not ignore reskilling. That is the biggest mistake someone will do today. If you think that I've just got a degree in 3 years back or 4 years back, why there is a need for reskilling now? I think you are actually getting into a trap. So reskilling has to be continuous in this age, because and you may also think that I'm not in IT, okay? I'm not in machine learning, I'm not in AI. So why do I need to reskill? You need to reskill because whatever profession you are in, be it accounting, be it medicine, be it engineering, that profession will adopt AI. And that is for sure, because why will it adopt AI? Because AI is doing the same thing at a far lesser cost. So there is strong business incentive to go for AI. And since that profession or that kind of whatever the tasks, the companies that you are working in will adopt AI today or tomorrow, you will, if you do not have the skill to deal with it, you run the risk of redundancy. So do not ignore reskilling. We are all gung-ho about technology, but do not forget that there are certain skills which will never go away. Skills like creativity, empathy, adaptability, These are highly human skills, and I do not see AI replacing this in the near future. Not in my lifetime, at least. I do not know about your lifetimes, but not in the next 30, 40 years. These are extremely human. These are the most human of humans, having creativity, empathy, adaptability, and so on. So these will not go away. So you must have that. So you should not neglect on these skills. You should not resist change and say that, why do I need to change? I mean, I'm doing this work. You always remember this example that I always remember when I think of the horse carriage, the owners of the coaches, the horse carriages, who thrived in the 1920s before the automobile came in. So if you resist change, you will be left behind. And you includes me. Okay, so if I resist change, I will be left behind. Okay, so that's also true for me. And there are ethical concerns. Okay, so there may be many ethical concerns. Firstly, with the data itself. Okay, so who owns the data? How do you use the data? Do not underestimate them. So whenever you are working with AI systems, try to build ethical AI systems. They are far more acceptable than systems which are roughshod, which are sort of take you for a ride, or uses it in mischievous ways. So never underestimate the power of ethics. Okay, so if you're not building ethical organizations, the organization may not do well. So what we must do? Learn vigorously about in AI and data analytics, spot the opportunities, spot the application areas, leverage AI tools alongside your own expertise. You may be a wonderful doctor, use AI to become better. You may be a wonderful engineer, use AI to become better. You may be a teacher, use AI to become better. Okay, so become better by leveraging AI tools. Complement the data-driven insights provided by these AI systems with human skills of creativity, empathy, and critical thinking. The machine will give you numbers. Machine will help you with the decision. You will have to take the decision. And when you are taking the decision, you will have to use the creativity, empathy, and the critical thinking that you have to do this. We have seen horrible instances of this, people getting fired over Zoom calls during COVID. And you have seen how much negative publicity this has actually generated. Even for organizations like Google, this has generated huge negative fallouts. Now, why? Because empathy was lacking. So they, of course, rationalize. They are a data-driven company, so they have rationalized. They may have come to the numbers that, okay, we are having 1,000 people extra, and we have to do something about it. Now, a person having empathy would deal with it in a very different way than someone who just comes in and on the Zoom call just fires 1,000 person. Okay, so that is the difference between an empathetic leader versus someone who treats the employee as only a resource. So it has been seen in history, and it will be seen again and again, that empathetic leaders would do well. So use the technology with your creativity and empathy and critical thinking, and you will do very well. And of course, you have to adapt fast. There is no time. This is not the time to be slow, because if you are slow, someone else will take your there's a book, I think, it says that who moved my cheese, so that the cheese will be taken away if you are not moving fast enough. Now, this is a quote from Barbara Jordan, who is a US House of Representatives member, and I love this quote. It says that for all of its uncertainty, we cannot flee the future. The future will catch up with us. Okay, the future is uncertain, very uncertain currently, but it will catch up. Okay, so it is half an hour away, or it's maybe half a day away, or a half a year away, but it is going to catch up with you. So you cannot flee the future, flee this uncertainty. The future will catch up, so you must act. So acting is very, very important. I stop here. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Laha. I think such a wonderful presentation, making it, so interesting and so easy to understand the terminologies, and insightful presentation. I think we could all relate it with. So, I mean, this is like a curtain raiser to the program, and this is like a trailer to the program. And let me kind of ask Shivani to actually share a snapshot of what the program is all about. And once she shares the snapshot, then we can get into a Q&A with Professor Laha. Over to you, Shivani.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much. So, as we soak in the wisdom shared by Professor Arnab Kumar Laha, it is evident that the potential of analytics and AI knows no boundaries. And now, so let us try and understand that how we can use and leverage this potential for our own professional growth. So allow me to introduce you to the executive program in advanced business analytics offered by none other than the esteemed institution, IIM Ahmedabad. This comprehensive program is meticulously crafted to suit the needs of busy professionals like yourselves who are eager to navigate the ever-evolving landscape of data-driven decision-making. So let me just share my screen and, help you in understanding about the program. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
Sure. Thank you so much, sir. So here it is. We are going to help you in understanding about the program in a snapshot. So the duration of the program, as a lot of you wanted to know about it, this program is approx 4 months in duration, very high academic rigor program. And the eligibility of the program says that you need to be a working professional or a self-employed. What we look for in terms of degree is a minimum, a graduation degree that should be in the format of 10 plus 2 plus 3. Here, minimum 50% of marks is what we are looking at. That makes you eligible to apply for the program. Minimum 2 years of work experience after your graduation, right? And that too in the desirable field. If you have in a relevant field, that is always desirable. A post-graduation in a relevant subject is desirable, right? The selection process comprises of that you will be making an online application. On the basis of that application, you will be, evaluated by the admission committee of IIM Ahmedabad, where they are going to have a look at the statement of purpose that you'll be submitting along with your application, a brief profile of you in terms of understanding what are you doing presently. And that would be the criteria that helps the faculty and the program directors in understanding whether this program will be beneficial for you or not. Delivery mode. The program is offered through VC Now satellite centers. Please be aware of this fact that this is not offered in a D2D mode, right? So you have to visit the satellite centers, and from there you'll be attending the class that will happen twice a week. The class timings would be Fridays 6 to 9 p.m. and Saturday would be 3 to 6 p.m. Other than that, this is a blended learning program. So along with these classes, there will be campus visits that are divided in 3 parts, and each campus visit will be of 3 days duration. So 3 days at the start of the program, 3 days towards the end, and 3 days interim campus would happen. So you get an opportunity to be at IIM Ahmedabad campus and attend the classes over there for 9 days. You will be getting, on the successful completion of the program, the alumni status of IIM Ahmedabad. The application fees for the program is 2,000 rupees plus GST that you will be doing at the start if you want to make an application for the same. The total program fees would be 4,75,000 plus applicable GST, and this entire fees has to be paid in 3 parts. Now, let me all help you in understanding the most important dates. The last date to make an application if you are interested in going for advanced program in business analytics. This last date to application would be June 18th. However, the applications are accepted on rolling basis. So if you want to go ahead, do not wait till the last date. Course commences on July 4th. So July 4th, you will be starting your first session at IIM Ahmedabad campus with our esteemed faculty. Technical orientation for all the joiners will be on June 28th. Here, we will help you in understanding the LMS and other intricacies of the technical knowledge that is involved. The online session. So once you come back after the first campus at IIM Ahmedabad, your first online session that you'll be attending from VC Now Satellite Center will begin on July 12th. Now here you can see, as I was telling you, that there'll be 3 campus immersions of 3 days each. The first campus module will be July 4th to July 6th. The tentative dates for the other 2 campus modules are also there on your screen. Second campus will happen in September. The dates will be September 7th to September 9th. And the third campus module would be November 28th to November 30th, 2024. Right? These are tentative dates. However, if there'll be any kind of deferment in the case of campus modules, that will be notified by the institute well in advance. Broadly speaking, the content of the program, that is EPA, BA, would be this, right? And I think most of the topics are already taken up by the professor in his keynote address, where he was talking about the different, predictive analytics, right? And so this is just a broad outline of the program content. You will get to see this in the brochure also that my team is going to share with all of you. The program concludes with a capstone project, which will help you in understanding and implementing the learning that you have acquired throughout the program. So you can take a screenshot of this. These are the important contact details. You can reach out to us on the numbers that are mentioned on the screen. And you can email us your queries, your concerns, any assistance that you need related with the program. These are the 2 email IDs. My name is Shivani Sharma. You can see my email ID also on the screen. You can reach out to me, and the other email ID mentioned is of IIM Ahmedabad. You can reach out to the institute as well for any of the queries. You can reach out to us on the numbers also that are mentioned on the screen. So with this snapshot about the program, now I would like to open the forum. I will just stop sharing the screen. And now with the permission of Professor Laha, I would like to open the forum for Q&A. So let us exchange our ideas and views and utilize this opportunity to ask questions from Professor related with today's webinar, or any questions related with the program if you may have. You can address it, and I would request Professor to please answer the queries. I'll just read out from the chat. We have got a lot of relevant questions. So I'll just read out a few questions for you, Professor. And in the meanwhile, I would request my tech team to allow the participants so that they can raise hands if they have any questions, and we will take it up one by one. So, I have got a question that I'm a banking professional having experience in trade finance. So how can this program be of benefit for me?
I do not have much knowledge about how exactly or what kind of exact job you are doing. But as you know, being in a bank, that banks are adopting AI in a big way. Now, whether they are adopting it in their trade finance function, I do not know. So I'll not hazard a guess there. But in many functions, they are using data in an increasing ways across the world. And several Indian banks are also on that journey. So I believe it may take a little time for these banks to come to pace with AI and ML applications. But they will surely have to do it. I mean, there is no if there, so they will have to do it. It's only a matter of time and how much investment they can do in building these systems. One problem with many organizations, particularly large ones like banks, is that the investment is significant. And it is because it is so data intensive, the data has to be captured. So many Indian banks have a problem with that. That means that they do not have that data in the right form. They have the data, by the way. They don't have it in the right form to use it. So it will depend, I guess. But yes, in general, at some point of time, banking would be used. Banking would use it in a big way. Whether trade finance would use it, you will be able to tell better depending on how much of data you are using in your decision making in your bank or elsewhere across the world.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor, for your guidance on this. We have one more question from Apurva Prasad. Is there a need to learn coding for people who are not from software developer background in order to leverage benefits of AI? Or can AI make even software developers redundant or part of it? And this kind of a question has been repeatedly asked by many of the participants. So, sir, if you can throw light on this.
So this is a very common question, and until last year, I always used to say that a little bit of coding is helpful for this program because you have to do R and Python things. But the last year has been phenomenal, particularly after the release of Gemini. I will tell you about a personal experience with Gemini. So I wanted to make a video by clipping some existing videos. Just for fun, I went to Gemini and said that I want to do this. Can you give me a Python code for that? It produced the code. I did nothing. I just took the code, changed the addresses from where it will read the files, gave the file names, and I just ran it. I hope that it will not run. It ran, produced the video, and I could use it immediately. So coding, I will not say coding will become redundant. Okay, so what I have, and after this very pleasant experience, I've done it many times. What I've figured out is that if it gives you an error, to fix that error, you need to know a bit of coding. But the broad algorithms, it has become extremely good at. So I will not say software developers would become redundant, but they can become extremely productive. So for example, the job that would have required 5 software developers may actually now be possible to do using only one of them. So that is going to happen. So efficiency will increase manifold, which will also mean that you can attempt to do extremely complex programs with the skills that you have.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor. We have got one question from Mr. Venkatesh. He's asking, sir, would like to know key trends in AI and data science of recent times. Any light on usage of auto ML tools and citizen data science?
Yeah, it is actually very strong currently, because we are seeing AI ML tools being used in practically every activity. Some of which are in public domain, some are not. So citizen data science, the term is taking a new meaning now that low code, no code platforms are becoming more and more common. So as we see these kind of platforms enabled by these large language models becoming more commonplace, we will see a whole lot of things on citizen data science. But a word of warning there. Data science relies on probability. Probability is one of the most counterintuitive subjects that I have ever encountered. Okay, so to interpret data science results, you need training. It is not that anybody can generate that output, but what to make of that output requires training. And that is where a trained data scientist will be better than a citizen data scientist. But the output, I think, it may not be possible immediately, but in a few months or a year, it will be possible. I mean, there will be software which will generate these reports for you, maybe even if you give it a verbal command. So that will not be very difficult.
Thank you so much, Professor. We have 2 participants in the audience, those who want to interact with you directly. So with your permission, I would like to invite Mr. Ajay Gupta. You can kindly unmute yourself and ask your question. Mr. Ajay Gupta, kindly unmute. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Good evening. you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Good
I can
evening.
hear
We
you.
can hear you, please.
Yeah, good evening, sir. I'm Ajay, sir. I come from commerce background, and it's been 18 years for me into sales profession. I love data. We have been doing, data churning and using data into our business decisions. But the kind of work we do, we are confined to, only to MS Office, largely doing works on Excel and presentation through the PowerPoints. So if I look at this program, I think of getting into it, thinking that, I would be able to, learn new techniques and tools. But, is it a prerequisite for me to learn this machine, learning algorithm Python or R, because I have basically no knowledge about this. So although it is an advanced learning program, so would it not be difficult for me to catch up, on those if I enroll in this program without having any background on these domains?
Okay, very good question. So first, the nomenclature advanced business analytics, it is not advanced data science. So it is not advanced only in techniques. It is advanced in the sense of business applications. So the advanced nomenclature here is used as advanced applications rather than advanced theory. Second is that without a knowledge of R and Python, would that be disadvantageous for you? The answer would have been yes, maybe 1 year earlier. But as I said, these LLMs have become extremely strong. So you can always rely on this Gemini or ChatGPT to help you in doing this program. By the way, these languages are themselves not very hard. It is only that you are not exposed to it. So once you are exposed to it, and if you use AI as your guide, I don't think that is not going to be a challenge right now. That is my understanding.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much for the guidance. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And this question has been asked by many of the participants that if they are not from a tech background, doing this program would be a challenge or not. Thank you so much. I think that answers a lot of queries. I would request Ms. Pooja Anand to kindly unmute and ask whatever question you have. Ms. Pooja,
Hi,
please.
hi, ma'am. Hi, sir. So I have a similar question, the one person asked just now. So I'm also from a commerce background, but I am into the telecom pre-sales since 20 years. So, and currently at the senior management profile. So I was just asking that if this program is for leaders and for managers also, it is as I know that AI is coming and the upskilling is the need of the hour. So how it is going to help the senior management kind of role if we do not have to do the coding on our own, but the teams involved, and I have to particularly I have to switch my industry also now. So if you can throw some light how it can help me.
So two things. First, currently a lot of analytics is done by teams, but there has been a chart called Analytics 3.0, Analytics 4.0, and so on, which all talks about analytics being embedded in organizations. That means the manager does his own analytics. Okay, so and that is one of the major problem of that was that you have to interact with a new software like R or Python or MATLAB or something to do that job. But with these large language models coming and large language based tools which will get generated very soon, you will see that running analytics will not be difficult. Okay, so if you have the data, these tools will give you the output. What you need to know is that what to get this data from. That will remain a challenge in all organizations because organizations are siloed. Getting the right data is always a challenge. In fact, data scientists 60-70% times goes only in getting the data by negotiating, influencing a lot of people. Okay. So once you have the data, this tool will be, these kind of algorithms will be able to give you the output. The next hard part is how to interpret the output and how to take the decision. Now, that is where senior people like you will add the most value, because you'll be able to see that, okay, if I do this, I may be able to get this lift compared to what someone else is saying. Now, these kind of inferencing will be the job of the senior management, and that is where your analytics skills will become useful. Or maybe tell them that this is the technique that should be used instead of what they're using now. Or this variable is important and this is not. So I think that is where your understanding of the business will come in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Even Ms. Madhu Jedia also had a similar kind of question. I think that was also answered by the response given by Professor just now. Ms. Madhu was asking that I have 18 plus years of IT experience in project deliveries. Is this course beneficial for me? So I think sir has already answered this question, Ms. Madhu. I would request Mr. Vishal Grover to kindly unmute. You have raised your hand, Mr. Vishal. Yes, please go ahead.
Honorable Professor, big data analytics can leverage artificial intelligence, cloud computing, application, platform, and infrastructure. Please elaborate.
I did not get the question. What is the question?
Cloud computing.
What you said is correct. What you said is correct. So what is the question? What do you want me to elaborate on?
Means cloud computing can integrate the applications of and platform servers.
Yeah, I mean,
electronics and information.
Computing is a technology, right? So it is a technology of what to run. So instead of putting the data in your data warehouse or data lake, you are putting it on the cloud. I think it's a choice that your organization will make where to put the data. So cloud computing is a facilitator. And it's an important facilitator, by the way, like security, like cyber security, is an important facilitator. But they're not the essence of AI. The AI will run on its own algorithms, as I was mentioning.
Go to the next question, Shivani.
Yes,
Thank
sure. So, so we have received a question from Mr. Tushar Tyagi, which is an interesting one. He has asked that, is it possible to analyze our customer data to identify the most likely scenarios that lead to sales? Furthermore, can we utilize machine learning or AI to influence these purchasing decisions? So I found this
Absolutely,
question.
yes. Absolutely, yes. This is one of the earliest applications that was thought of, that could you identify who could be my potential customers and how do we help them in their customer journeys? So the answer is an absolute yes, and a lot of work has been done on this, and many organizations have already taken a lead on this. I'm not naming organizations here, but as you see, if you just look at the internet, you'll see many extremely good use cases on this topic. And I'm sure, because this is such an important topic, you will see more and more adoption of analytics and ML and AI in this field. Say, for example, I'll give you one simple example. So whenever you go to buy a furniture, I think now even Amazon does it. I think most of the this kind of platforms would tell you that you can use your camera to see how it will look in your room. Okay, that's fascinating, right? You are being able to figure out how it will look in your room even before you have bought the furniture. So that is a extremely good example of how your customer journey is being enhanced by AI.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. So we have received another question in the webinar chat. This is by Mansi Srivastav. She's asking that the duration of the previous batch, and that was EPA BA4, that was 9 to 10 months. But the last two batches tenure has been reduced to 4 to 5 months. So she wants to understand that, is there any difference with regards to the level of the difficulty, the course material or project covered? So in the sense, she wants to understand why this reduction of course duration has happened.
So actually, IIM courses undergo a review. So a review committee had looked at this program and felt that 9 to 10 months is too long. And this whole thing can be condensed into 4 to 5 months. So that was based on the review committee's report. The duration has been made to 4 into 5 months, but no compromise on the rigor or topics has been made. So the program remains as it is. Of course, we keep updating the program with changing times, but apart from that, everything remains same, including the modules, the campus visits, the capstone project. Everything remains as it is. Only the duration has been shrunk based on the review report.
Thank you so much, sir. I would like to request Mr. Arun K, to kindly unmute.
Yeah. Sir, I'm an accounting professional for the last 20 years working in the middle management, and now there is a lot of automations that are embraced in whatever tools or techniques they are using. So what I would like to know is rather I'm perplexed in terms of being an accounting professional, not having a technical skills. What one should learn or be equipped with to stay relevant in the accounting?
As I said, embrace AI. Okay, so embrace this, learn as much as you can, see what is happening in your field. Say, for example, risk-based auditing is one big thing which is spreading in your field. New regulations are coming in. We are having new standards to audit. I'm not an accounting person, so some of this you have to take with a pinch of salt. But what I understand is that there have been a lot of efforts going on in trying to understand money laundering using AI, ML kind of things. We are seeing new ways of auditing that is coming because a lot of these transactions are instantaneously facilitated. So all of this will have a big impact on auditing, and therefore, I think basic understanding of these would be very helpful for any professional in the field of auditing and accounting.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
One more thing that I would like to add to that, Professor, with your permission, that the program covers application of analytics in various domains. So it is sales, marketing, finance, and analytics in finance, analytics in HR. So, people from, even in our past batches, we've had participants from various domains or business domains and functions being able to leverage the tools, techniques, and applications into their own work areas or domains.
Thank you so much, sir, for adding that. I would request Apurva Prasad, kindly unmute and ask the question that you have.
I hope I'm audible.
Yes. Please go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor, for your presentation. Professor, my question is really to understand your views on how much of this is actually a hype versus what you see getting bigger. I mean, we have seen technologies such as metaverse, where there was a lot of expectations, and that probably didn't go the way it was expected. So just generally your comments on how much of this is hype versus you see this getting bigger. And if you could also comment on the cost element of it. So we have seen cloud computing where there was a very strong cost proposition initially, but now that seems to have become substantially more expensive. How do you see the economic viability of AI as it gets bigger?
Very good question. So whether it is a hype or not, I think the question has been answered. So AI is newer, but analytics has been there since 1990s. So it is already there for 35 years. It is now a mainstream part of business. Okay, so It is nothing to do with the hype. Hype is about these large language models and the potential it is. I think the hype is also genuine because the potential is very large. But as with media, they seem to inflate it a bit. I think that part, that inflation part, and the fact and that extension into artificial general intelligence, that is the hype part. I mean, I don't think AI would be like ET in any time soon. Okay, so I think that is the hype part. But as far as the business applications of AI and analytics is concerned, I think that's a proven story. So there is no hype there. It is. So when it first came in the 1990s, when I was still a student, it was thought that it's again a hype and it will go away. But the value realization has been so sharp and so much that it has sustained for 3 decades. So this is now an integrated part of business. So I don't think it's a hype. Regarding the cost of implementing a good AI system is high. High because, high for organizations which do not have a data repository already. If your data is well organized, if it is already in nicely in good repositories, whether in cloud or in-house or etc., but it is nicely organized and kept, applications can be very quickly built on it. But that's not the case in 99% of the organizations. Data is scattered, kept in various silos. There are turf wars on the data. In addition to that, now you have privacy issues coming from GDPR and other kinds of, even the Indian Act. So you have to navigate all that. And therefore, to do that, it requires cost. All of this is possible, but it requires additional cost. So the cost has to be borne, and the cost has to be borne ahead before the benefits come. And therefore, the organizations occasionally deter that we are spending so much, will we get the realization? Now, to get the realization, you need 2 things. One, of course, the system, the AI system. That is, okay, I mean, it's costly, but you can build it. The second one is much harder. That is a culture change. So your staff should start believing that they will use the AI as the primary guide, rather than the hunches that they have, or some hearsay from some seniors or some higher executives. Okay, so that is a bigger change. That the culture change is the bigger change. If that can be navigated, I think organizations can get very high value for their investment in a reasonable amount of time.
Thank you so much for that, sir. I would request Mansi to kindly unmute quickly and ask your question. We will only take the last 2 questions and we would like to wrap up the session. We are already running ahead of time. Professor has been generous to take this question. Sir, if you allow, can we take the last 2 questions?
Yes, please. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Sure. So Mansi, please ask your question and then we'll move on to Mr. Pradeep and finally Shweta Ajmera. Yes, Mansi.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for the session. So I had a very basic question because I am trying to understand this field and probably transitioning from a healthcare sector, completely non-technical sector. I wish to gain a better understanding because I have tried to take courses from institutes, but there's a very fine difference that I see between business analytics and data analytics. And many organizations, they try to combine both of them. So I did take few sessions from few renowned institutions, but API web scraping is completely technical. And I was thinking that this is not a part of my field, and so I couldn't connect to them. And business analytics being one of my area of strength, management part, since I've done my graduation, I've done my studies in management only, I could relate better to that. But these organizations, these institutes are not taking up that part of it. So is technicality only, business analytics is all about the technical aspect, or is it about management and including AI and all these tools into management and then working together?
A very good question. So this program is just the opposite. So we are not getting into these kind of data science tools. So now of course, people distinguish between data science and business analytics. So that web scraping, getting data, fusing databases, that is mostly done in data science courses. And that is more of a part of information technology and computer science. So this course doesn't have that. Okay, so anyone who is expecting all this will be disappointed. We are focusing on business applications. We'll teach the tools to apply them to business cases. So we'll try to solve business cases using these tools. So that is the focus of this program. So we are not getting into that. I mean, we have to get into a bit of technicalities regarding the algorithms, but we are not getting into large amount of technicalities, particularly on the database side in these courses.
Thank you so much, sir. I was quite skeptical on my ability of being able to do this course, but thank you so much for taking up the question. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Shivani. Thank you.
Professor, on the same note, there is a question on somebody's asked whether, Python is included, and, while R for analytics is there, but most Gen AI apps are using Python. So is Python also included, and would it be covered?
An introduction to Python is there already in the course. But I must say that do not worry about languages anymore. As I gave the example during the seminar, I think it will become a breeze. Trust me, if you know the basics, rest of it will be done by ChatGPT or Gemini. Okay, I am familiar with these two. I am referring to these two, but there are many others, and they are also equally good. Okay, so I think now that in the last 1 year, that worry about coding has gone. It has gone for me also. Okay, so I am now far more comfortable asking Gemini to do my hard stuff.
That's very comforting and reassuring, and I think for a lot of people who always had this concern about technology and coding, I think that's really comforting and reassuring. Thank you, Professor.
Jensen Yang, who is the CEO of NVIDIA, he went on record saying that his mission in life is to make AI accessible to all without coding. And I guess he will be successful the way he is going about it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor. I think that gives us a lot of confidence and to a lot of participants also. And we'll definitely take these words ahead when we are interacting with more people who are interested in the course. I would request Shweta Ajmera to kindly unmute.
Hello.
Yes, Shweta, please go ahead.
Yes. Sir, I am an auditor, and I would like to know your view that how it will impact our auditing in future.
See, already you must have seen some impact of it with online transactions happening, with large volumes of transactions almost going through immediately. So these are all I'm not an auditor, but I believe that these are all concerns for auditors because a lot of things are automatically being mediated. And also the volume of transactions are becoming increasingly large. So possibly auditing every transaction is no longer possible. So you'll have to do risk-based auditing. You have to embrace risk-based auditing in a more holistic manner. So I think there will be, and also things like in many things, one particular application I can think of is contracts. So a lot of these contracts are very detailed documents, printed, which we call fine prints, and very few people have ever read it. But with AI tools, you can actually examine these contracts. In fact, you can examine whether a particular clause which is being claimed is there in the contract or not. So these kind of additional capabilities you will be able to have. There are applications already which give you the capability of querying on the document. So basically, I think the application is called Chat PDF. So where you can actually upload the PDF and then you can query the document to get answers from it. So I think these kind of AI applications are already there and the scope is huge. I believe it will have a substantial impact.
Sir, how this course will help us?
The course will build the foundations. So any course at IIM Ahmedabad builds foundation. It will set you with the basic terminologies, It will tell you that these are the things that is happening. And so one of the guiding principles of IIM courses is that the course remains relevant long after the course is done. So, and what we have seen through our experience of 60, 70 years that we have been present is foundational concepts generally help people to learn new concepts faster. The foundations are good, you will learn new concepts more quickly. And that is the goal of any program at IIM Ahmedabad. And this is also the goal of this.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. That was quite enriching and insightful. We'll take up a last question from the chat, which I think kindly go on mute. Yeah. So this question is asking, this is asked by Nitin Shroti. How do we know which AI tools are available and which are not? Is there any library of apps listing all of them with their application and usage? So, sir, if you can help us in understanding that.
I have not seen one. It's a very good suggestion. I mean, maybe one should do that. But on Pinterest, I have seen people collating these kind of applications. So if you search Pinterest, you may get some lists. But how good are these lists? I don't know. So I cannot vouch for them. But I have seen some lists of people collecting many of these tools together according to applications and putting them as a infographic in Pinterest. So have a look at that.
Right. So there is one more question, I think, which, as counselors and advisors, we find it a little difficult to answer. A lot of participants ask us that there are plethora of programs in analytics, AI, ML, in the market, ranging from, very low cost to a program like the IIM Ahmedabad, business analytics program. And people always get confused about choosing the right program. While I think, you rightly mentioned about the approach of IIM Ahmedabad and of course, being an undisputed #1 education institute in India, and the approach towards the fundamentals and then helping participants, to kind of ensure that they can, kind of scale up, once the fundamentals are in place. But any kind of, closing remarks or thoughts on why people should look at an IMA business analytics program versus a plethora of programs in the market?
This is a very hard question because it forces me to comment on competitors, and which I don't want to do.
Not competition, but yeah, is there a way to kind of talk about our program? Yeah.
Yeah, so educational products are complex. There are two elements to it. One is what is being offered on the table by the institute, whichever institute, and what the participant wants to make out of that, how much effort the participant is giving. So I guess all the programs out there, no matter what the cost is, are good programs. So first of all, I congratulate all the institutes for offering those programs. As far as this program goes, if someone is interested in business applications, if they are interested in knowing how they can utilize these tools beyond the textbook into real life scenarios, I think this program is good for them. Typically, the cohort that we get here is a mix. We get some very young people, we get some very senior people. And that we have found it to be extremely helpful for this program. The senior people bring in the expertise, their knowledge and their business sense. The younger people bring on the table their enthusiasm for technology and being conversant with the current concepts. So that actually provides a very good mix of participants in the program. I think one key thing about IMA programs is what we do in the classroom is enhanced by the participation and the interaction that the participants have among themselves. The cohort itself is a very important concept in this. And one of the reasons why we have not offered this program on a D2D mode is to keep that. Okay, so we want people to interact. We want them to come to the center, talk to one another, interact about learning. And in any of these, you will have some people who are extremely good in technology, extremely good in math and stat, and some who are very good in their own application areas. So they will exchange ideas. They will be helping one another to learn that. So with that hope, we devised these programs. And over the last 5 batches, we have seen that it has been successful in delivering some value to our participants. The participants can tell how much value they've got, but from what I get, from what I hear from them once in a while on the job enhancements that they're getting or new opportunities that they are getting, that gives me a good feeling that possibly they were able to extract a significant value out of this program. I will leave it at that.
Sure. I think, thank you for the, very nice and neutral answer. And I guess, there is no doubt, I think, about, doing a program from IIM Ahmedabad, the #1 institute. I think you have, seen by yourself, Professor Laha, and how he makes the complex subject so easy, yet, how you can relate it and conceptually so easy to understand. I think, I actually made notes about descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and I'm going to remember it for my life. Because when I talk to participants, I know that is going to be useful. So I think, on this note, I'd like to hand over to Shivani to kind of have a concluding remark. And, she'll let us know about, like she mentioned, that this is the last, session of selection. Because I think I'll leave it to her because she's handling the program. She'll be able to verbalize it better. Over to you, Shivani.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you, Professor Laha. The session was really very insightful and very enriching for all of us. In fact, a lot of questions got answered without even asking, because I think most of us were having the same queries. And this was just, kind of a sneak peek into the big wide ocean of analytics and a beautiful program by IIM Ahmedabad, that is Executive Program in Advanced Business Analytics. As I said, that the last date to make an application would be 18th of June. We are just in the last leg of application because we also need around 10 to 12 days time on our side to get the approval from the institute on the profile and everything. So just don't wait for the last date to make an application if you're really keen. My team will get in touch with each of the participants present here and will surely address all the questions that you may have even after the program. So before I just conclude this session, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you who joined us for Thriving in the Age of Analytics and AI, the do's and don'ts. Please do expect a call from my team who will reach out to you and provide you the detailed information of our program. If you want to revisit this webinar, this will soon be uploaded on VC Now YouTube video channel. You can just reach out to us, like us, subscribe us, and you can revisit this entire session there. Your active participation, the questions that were asked, and the shared enthusiasm, this has truly made this webinar a success. I would also like to express my sincere gratitude and thanks to Professor Arnab Kumar Laha for his illuminating insights and invaluable contributions. So it is always a pleasure to attend your webinars and to listen to your enriching talks. Your expertise has been instrumental in shaping our understanding of analytics and the role of AI in driving intelligent business decision making. Thank you so much, sir. And with these words, I would like to conclude today's webinar. Thank you so much all once again for participating, and we will reach out to you for all the details related with the program. Thank you so much.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you.